Hi. Well, tonight I'm going to talk about something really, really personal. It's taken me quite a few days and weeks to really be able to talk about it. It's actually so painful. But I decided to share my experience, and maybe you can let me know what you think. I think the whole experience was absolutely unreal. I just didn't think these kind of things could happen. Um, in Montreal and North America. I just didn't think it. It was worse than it was on TV. It really was. I guess my fiance and I had a little bit of a dispute, and he wanted a little break, so he went and found out some information from the police station. A day later, they decided that they would arrest me. So that's what they did. They arrested me. But they didn't say they was arresting me. They said, you'll have to come down to the station. I was like, what did I do? Where did I go? What's going on? Apparently, I assaulted him in his legs and feet. Okay. I definitely wasn't trying to kill him, that's for sure. So, anywho, there I go, and they say it out. I'm like freaking out. I was like, oh my god. I've never even been inside a jail. Yes, I know, I've been sheltered, but no. And unbelievably, I went in there for an hour, and like I was talking to you, if you've been watching any other Kibbles and Bits, you've seen that beautiful metal toilet syndrome. That was, with all that privacy, not. Anyhow, I take very serious medications, and they were not given to me, and I ended up being taken for 3 days. 3 days. Not only that, I was shocked. The investigator came to me, and I was expecting to say, okay, well, you can go. My rights were not read to me at all. And they didn't even say you're under arrest. The next thing I know, he's telling me that no matter what my fiance says, I have to stay the night to see the judge in the morning. I'm freaking out. I'm on really, really, the meds I'm on. We just talked about it, but I'm on serious blood thinners, and I can get blood clots. And I had my pins removed 2 days before, which means my body, my arms were trying to fight by coagulating, etc., etc. Well, I've had 12 DVTs, which is deep vein thrombosis. It's called deep vein thrombosis. And 9 of those have gone to my lungs. A few of those, 9 times. And I have to take my blood thinners. They were not given to me. But lo and behold, when my daughter went to pick up at the prison, I was put in prison, okay, for assaulting Pete. But they don't know what room, they don't know how, they don't know what time. But okay, so it's awful. How could you do that? I would have. We'd all be pointing fingers at everybody, and half of the world would be in jail if it was all hearsay. I don't get it. I might be jovial right now and sort of, feeling like I don't feel anything, but I felt every bit of it. It was so humiliating. In fact, I won't forget it. I won't ever. As hard as I try, I can't. I'm in fear all the time. I thought I was going to die 3 times. And guards, they really want to do what they do. And they want to hurt people. That's why they sign up for that. I didn't know that. So there I was, and the investigator came and said, no matter what you do, or no matter what your fiancé does, he cannot get you out. You have to stay all night long. Oh no. So anyways, I had this girl. It's like a nightmare, but it was true. You could make a movie out of it. This girl, she was a lovely enough girl. She kept on saying, I'm not a lesbian. But she groped me all night. And there were screams that came from the cell beside me that I'll never forget. I'll never forget. This woman was wheeled in a wheelchair. She was dumped in. She was screaming and moaning. And then all of a sudden, 4, I guess there were prison guards and police, or I wasn't sure. And one man who put on this black glove, like it was a gold Michael Jackson glove or something. And so he went in there with this glove, and I heard screams. And because of what I do when I work with patients, I know pain screams. I know what pain is. And this woman was in terrible, terrible pain. And her clothes were being tossed out left and right, one item after another, as she screamed. She screamed that she was raped 25 times there. I mean, I was terrified. I was terrified. And my medication, I needed my medication so badly, and they didn't give it to me. Well, the longest night of my life, it was a cement bed with a cement floor. I didn't even know that it could be that bad. So I get through the night. Somehow, I get through the night. We get in this truck. It's so cold, but they put on the heat eventually, and we get to something called the Palais de Justice. Yeah, French, Quebec, right? So, the Justice Palace. That's what I call it. It's basically a courthouse. And they let off all the male patients, and they let off all the male, inmates. I guess they were being inmates. I don't know if they were tried or anything, so I don't want to convict anybody that might have been there, but we were all there together. So, then the truck drove away. Yeah, it drove away. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta see the judge. I haven't seen the judge. I was freaking out. Then they turn off the heat. And I was freezing. It was like a 45-minute drive. And we drive in to something we call Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a male prison. It's a male prison. So I went in and I was begging for my medication. I'm begging. All they did was make fun of me. And I just got my pins out of my broken hand. And they shoved the same outfit that they give all the men on me. They shoved these jeans and a sweatshirt. They ripped my finger. I don't even know to this day if they broke it again. And I was taken from room to room while men just stared at me. And they kept on promising me and making fun of me that I would get my medication. It was terrible. It really, really, really was awful. They were so cruel. And the strip searches were so violating. I just came from a prison. Where would I acquire what would I acquire? They shackled me. And it gets worse because I saw the judge at only like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was through this like telecomputer thing. And they said no. The Crown said no. I had to go to another jail. I wanted to die at that moment. I really did. And I've never wanted to die. I love life and I want to live all the time. I get sad and depressed sometimes, but nothing major. I was like, I can't live through this. So then they came to pick me up and they shackled my ankles. And they had like this thing for my knees. And I put my knees on them and they shackled my ankles. I could barely walk. And I got in this van, and thank God there was like 4 other girls. And I was like, where are we going? We're going to prison. Well, we went to somewhere in Laval, which is very far away from where I live. We're not really in the system. And again, strip search. Yeah. And they handed me this, I don't know, it was like a pillowcase with my sheets in it. I couldn't believe this was happening, and I'm in such bad shape. I mean, I haven't slept. My hair is a mess. They took my laces out. And finally, I got through. And I got into my little bunk. And I made my little bed. I just couldn't believe what was happening. How could it have happened? I still can't believe it. Anyways, I wanted to wash my clothes because they were so dirty. Nobody would let me the brush. I looked a mess. At least I wanted my clothes to be clean. And when I woke in the morning, they said they'd dry them for me. They were soaking wet. And it was freezing here in Quebec, Montreal. And not only that, they were soaking wet, but they wouldn't let me take my jacket with a hood on it, because it had a hood on it. So I was freezing. And then they transport me to a basement. Now I get to see the judge, but of course they waited till 5 o'clock to let me see the judge. And the judge had mercy on me and said, these are your conditions. Don't see your ex-fiance. I guess he was ex at that point. He's not anymore, but he was then. He's just a friend now, a very good friend. And I'll always care for him. And so now I was like so happy. I was thrust out, and I guess the judge had mercy. He just looked at me and he was like, friendly and nice. And he said, no problem, just don't see this man and do it. And so they hand you a bus ticket. I had no money. It's freezing. I had to go back to my old address. That was locked. And I had no keys. I mean, I just didn't think I could make it. And it was such a bad experience. I mean, 3 times. 3 different times. I asked for my EpiPen. I went into anaphylactic shock. Thank God somehow I lived. Because I think they started me something like almonds in it. Because I couldn't breathe. And the guard came up to me and he said, you're not cyanotic. Do you know what cyanotic is? And I said, yes, I do. I'm medically inclined. And I'm not blue, but I will be soon. And he went to check and said there was no EpiPen. But of course there was. And when our daughter picked up the purse, there was all 3 medications for 3 days, none of which was given to me. None of which. And apparently the first hour that I had arrived at this holding cell place, they had gotten the prescription. They had gotten it. And they just didn't care enough to give it to me. I'm so disappointed. I used to have so much faith in the police. I mean, I trusted these people. I trusted the police. The investigator didn't even ask me my side of the story. Nothing. Everything's been violated. I feel so terrible. I mean, there's so many more stories that I'm going to tell you at another time, but I can't go on right now because I can't. Because I can't talk about it anymore. It frightens me. It frightens me. And the thing is, like, if I walked by my ex's house, which was my house, I lived there for 1.5 years, if I walk by there and they see me, they can arrest me, put me in jail again. I'm terrified all the time. And I still don't know what I did wrong. I even went to see my lawyer and they can't see where the assault took place. I'd never hurt a fly. If anybody knows me, I'm gentle. I'm honest to a fault. I'm always to a fault, but gentle, honest, forgiving to a fault, obviously. I'm really, really hurt. I'm really having trouble getting over this. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you, and who knows, I might even have to go to prison. I mean, it doesn't look that way, but you never know. So that was my experience. Thanks for listening. If you have a similar experience, as I said, there's a new email. Please write in, text in, and you'll be able to Skype in soon so you can get it here, and I'd love to hear you live. So that's coming up soon, and we're all quite excited about that. So hang in there for Kibis and Bits. It only gets better, and maybe I went over 10 minutes. Oh, so what? For all the 2-3 minutes, we added on some, right? All right. Take care. Have a lovely evening. Kibis and Bits.